I have been gainfully employed since I was 12. And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid.
In this video, Tim Pool reports on Joy Reid's canceled show on MSNBC. Tim Pool plays a clip from Joy Reid's tearful farewell, as well as a clip of Rachel Maddow blaming the cancellation on racism. With that, let's watch Tim Pool crush the overdramatic, race-hustling liars at MSNBC as they reflect on the end of an era, the firing of Joy Reid. Couldn't have happened to a nicer gal.
The days of the corporate press are coming to an end. So quite literally, Joy Reid cries. Her show's been canceled. We saw the news yesterday. She issued a statement on her show, and she urged everybody to follow her on social media, where she will likely not succeed, but sure. Rachel Maddow then went on her show and called MSNBC racist. I love this timeline. I'm not kidding. She flames MSNBC bosses for purging non-white anchors. Well, there's some new reporting shedding some light onto what exactly happened with the termination of Joy Reid's show. And apparently, she is an unhinged kook who is ranting and getting overly emotional. Uh-oh, they're going to call that sexist, but that's what the reporting says. Her unhinged tirades were viewed as over the top. She had this video where she said, "Who cares about white women's tears?" Megyn Kelly responds, says, "Well, guess who's crying now?" Goes viral. Don Lemon then makes a video saying, "F you." And I'm sitting here being like, it's like idiocracy.
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
Spiral into the ground. It ain't coming back. Elon should take it over. I'm not going to call it an unhinged rant. I watched it. She's not banging on the table, screaming, but I would call it hilarious in that she basically calls MSNBC racist, which is just so much fun.
PM hour, all the other nights except for Mondays. So that's a big change. An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12. And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door.
I will just pause and say, like, I really blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't call it unhinged, guys. She's very calmly explaining why she likes Joy Reid. She's wrong, of course.
It is not my call, and I understand that. But that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend.
Get woke, go broke? I don't know. Look, excuse me. I don't think they hired Joy Reid for her raw talent. I think that you've got channels like MSNBC that want to pander, and there are many prominent, intelligent individuals of various ethnic backgrounds, and they end up choosing the progressive, leftist black woman Joy Reid, largely because it fits a narrative. They want someone who fits the diversity like a narrative that will also preach to that audience. I am not saying Joy Reid was a diversity hire. Component of it, obviously, Rachel Maddow is actually laying it out for us. They have only 2 people of color, and they fired them both.
And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it. But there's just one other piece of it that you should know.
Oh, yeah.
From your side of the TV screen, you will mostly see changes in terms of who's in the anchor chair. And actually, everybody who's going to be in anchor chairs from here on out are great colleagues and great at what they do, and you are not going to be disappointed in who's on our air and what you're going to be seeing.
I'm going to pause right there, lady. Yes, they are. That's why your rate.
Tim's right. This wasn't an unhinged rant, but the content of it was insane. Calling the most progressive, far-left major news network racist is hilarious. To confirm how stupid that opinion is, Keith Olbermann said the same thing. And if you know anything about him, he is clinically insane. Like, the woke mind virus hasn't just taken him, it's destroyed his brain. Now, Rachel Maddow says of everyone she's worked with in her life, Joy Reid is who she respects the most. How bad do you think everyone in her peer group feels about themselves, knowing that Joy Reid ranks higher than all of them? All of them have to be thinking, all right, Rachel Maddow's got to have terrible judgment, or I really need to examine my life if I'm being beaten by Joy Reid at anything. What's even funnier about this rant by Rachel Maddow is she's complaining about the lack of diversity at the network because 2 non-white people got fired. Well, Joy Reid's being replaced with like a panel show of 3 people. 2 of the people are black. So you're not just getting a replacement of 1 black person, you get a replacement of 2 black people. So you just wasted your breath on all that garbage, all that racist garbage, Rachel, so shut up. I saw Matt Walsh reported on this, and he made a great point. Prior to these firings, he's like, prime time is 4 hours long. He said, so you have 2 non-white people on MSNBC. He's like, minorities are overrepresented if you're looking at them compared to the population. So I don't know what you're complaining about. And I'm with Tim. I have zero idea, why Joy Reid was hired. I don't understand it, but I have no evidence that she was a DEI hire or anything. But by not firing her, I believe that was pandering, because I closely looked at her ratings over the close to 9 years she's been there. She's never competed for anything close to the top spot, even top 10. I mean, she brought in 0 viewers, relatively speaking, you know what I mean? Anyone else with her ratings, she's been there close to 9 years, would have been fired 8 years ago. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Ratings are going down. Can I just repeat that one more time? Rachel Maddow says you're not going to be disappointed. Clearly, people have been increasingly disappointed with your failing network as nobody watches it anymore.
But one thing you cannot necessarily see is that the people who get our shows on the air, they're really being put through the ringer. Dozens of producers and staffers, including some who are among the most experienced and most talented and most specialist producers in the building, are facing being laid off. They're being invited to reapply for new jobs. That has never happened at this scale in this way before when it comes to programming changes.
Wow.
Presumably because
I almost feel like, Rachel Maddow was getting ready for primetime and she was like, guys, I just feel like we want regular Americans, post-liberals, suspected liberals, conservatives to have a really good night. Can I make a statement that just warms their hearts? So it's not just Joy Reid who's getting fired, it's all of her producers and staff. Oh.
Because it's not the right way to treat people, and it's inefficient, and it's unnecessary.
Oh, please.
And
Your failing
kind of
network makes
the
no
bottom
money.
out of whether or not people feel like this is a good place to work, and so we don't generally do things that way. Maybe all of our folks, including...
If a lot of the staff and producers that you're talking about are facing layoffs, then you and the rest of the on-air talent have to take some responsibility for that happening. If MSNBC's ratings were just killing it, none of this would be an issue right now. Seriously, what the hell is she talking about? She says it's not the right way to do things. Lady, your network is failing. The owners want to sell it. The majority of people don't get their news from cable news anymore. And across the board, your ratings are in the gutter. What kind of fantasy land do you live in where no one gets let go? Businesses restructure all the time. Departments restructure. That's what average Americans experience every day. I'm sure I don't agree with the leadership at MSNBC at all, but they're just business people. I mean, she's painting the leadership there like monsters that are laying people off to like be mean specifically to Rachel Maddow and be mean to these people and punish them somehow. It's just business. It's not personal. I wonder what this lady does the 99.9% of the week that she doesn't have to work. She is so detached from reality with a take like that. That's not the way we do things around here. Well, it is if there's not jobs for these people and if the company needs to cut back because you're performing so poorly. Ridiculous. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Daily Mail's got the story. Yeah, Joy Reid cried. Do I have Joy Reid crying? Did I not pull that one up? We got Don Lemon freaking out. Let me make sure. Oh, okay, I'll get the Joy Reid crying because we covered it yesterday. That's why I didn't pull it up. But considering Rachel Maddow's rant and all that stuff, all right, fine. Let me scroll down and see if I've got. Oh, here's Joy Reid begging people to follow her. I actually don't care to play that. Don't follow her. She's awful. And then, oh yeah, we also have that Dan Crenshaw thing where he threatened to kill Tucker Carlson. Talk about wild. Here's the video of Joy Reid crying. Okay.
My show had value.
No, it didn't.
And
nobody watched it.
I'm sorry. That what I was doing had value.
Okay, I'm gonna say it again, lady. Nobody watched it. You didn't have value. That's why they fired you. This is not. I don't understand what this is. Okay. Cernovich says Joy Reid called Jack Posobiec and me Russian agents. He tried taking us out. Who is standing with you, demon? Okay, Joy Reid. Is it conspiracy? This is the narrative they're playing, okay? Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid are trying to push this narrative that her show ends largely for some racist reason. Is that all you've got? My show had value. It had value. It clearly didn't, okay? The amount of money it takes to run your show versus what they were generating was no, we're not going to do it.
I know Tim just said it twice, but I've seen it a couple times now. I still want to know her show had value to whom? Honestly, I think it had value to people like me that could take clips from your show and talk about how deranged you were. You had value to me in that sense, I guess. But for actual news, I promise you it did not. And how undignified and ungrateful is it, her crying over a show being canceled? It happens all the time. You think she'd have gratitude for being on the air for, like I said, close to 9 years, not to mention making anywhere from $1 to $3 million a year during that time. If you watch that crying video, all she does is say, we did so many important stories, and just talks about herself and how great her show was, as opposed to showing some humility, and embarrasses herself and cries about a show being canceled that's been on for close to 9 years. I mean, she's not upset for the viewers or for her staff. She's embarrassed. It's about her. Her ego's hurt. She is used to everyone in her little MSNBC liberal elite bubble telling her every day how wonderful she is. And now she's blown away to think that maybe no one cares about her stupid show. And begging people to come with you on social media, I cannot wait for her to land wherever she lands, hopefully in the online platform somewhere, YouTube or X or wherever, because there ain't going to be a giant network behind her with all the resources and millions of dollars put into her show. She's going to have to compete on merit. And I could be proven wrong, but I think she's in for a very rude awakening when the market will decide whether her show has value or not some network that just jams her down our throats. But we want to hear from you. What do you all think about Joy Reid being fired? What do you think about Rachel Maddow's ridiculous, it's racist comments? And what do you think of Tim Pool's commentary? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.